For the past few years, New Super Mario Bros. Wii has received a lot of top-level competition in the realm of speedrunning. There was the rise of Cad, when he achieved his first world record.
Dude! That has to be it,
Then the rise of Sharp, who overtook Cad. Since then, they've been in a battle for the world record. Together, they took the record down 2.8 seconds. Although there were many world records being set, the actual time being saved seemed to grow smaller and smaller. For example, Cad's second any percent world record only beat Sharp by 1 frame. The dream of a sub-22 run seemed to fade away, as less and less time could be saved from each world record set. It was really sad because the minute barrier hadn't been broken since Ochgard was running the game. So, the fact that New Super Mario Bros. Wii had been optimized down to a crisp just before a sub-22 run was very disappointing. The point is, it was going to take a long time before a sub-22 run would roll around. But all this would change on June 20th, 2023, when the biggest breakthrough in the history of Super Mario Wii would take place. Let me start at the beginning. It all started in January of 2023, when MG Roadkill, Qriptik, and Squash1 were brainstorming about theoretical new routes the any percent task could use. They discovered that in World 1, the Ice Flower could be used to get significant speed boosts via projectile physics, and in World 5, they could use the Mushroom House to obtain a propeller and star power-up, and a penguin suit for the rest of the run. Although the Mushroom House would lose a lot of time, the power-ups obtained would make up for it. The task was official. For months, they would work very hard optimizing each move down to the frame. When they got to World 8, they needed to get very creative because no route had ever included a penguin suit in it. So, MG Roadkill, Qriptik, and Squash would get to work finding new strategies that could be used in World 8. Many of the strategies were tasks only and extremely out of human reach. However, when it came down to the final boss fight, Qriptik was messing around with the penguin suit.
And what I found was shocking.
This is what Qrip managed to dig up. The final escape has an invisible ceiling above the screen that, in theory, should prevent Mario from getting to the top and running across. What Qrip had managed to do was clip inside the floor by crouching and standing up in a 1-block gap created by Bowser's Fireball. When Mario faces right and stands up in a 1-block gap, the game decides to push him to the right at a slow speed. He also found that if Mario crouches again, once completely in the floor, he can jump up to different layers in the floor. If Mario waits until he arrives under this column, he can jump up through the entire column by mashing 2 and holding down, then arrive at the top of the screen. At this point, Mario is still inside solid blocks and can keep crouch jumping between layers, including the layers of the invisible ceiling. And once Mario reaches the top of the ceiling, he could simply just run across. Qriptik would soon find a better and faster way of doing the trick. By throwing ice right after wall jumping and holding right, Mario can immediately turn back and repeat the same process over and over. This is a special technique called wall jump cancelling, and allows you to wall jump infinitely. If Mario arrives up at the right spot while Bowser shoots his first fireball, it can create a 1-block gap much like the one created in the floor, and can be used to jump through only the top of the ceiling instead, saving several seconds over jumping through the entire column. Okay, that's a really cool trick, isn't it? It would save a lot of time in the tasks. Sadly though, humans couldn't benefit from it in a standard speedrun of the game, because obtaining a penguin suit would lose too much time. And even if it didn't, perfectly aligning yourself to aim Bowser's Fireball in the right spot was way too difficult. It was certainly a task-only trick. Or was it? After looking into it more, apparently there was a way to do it with a propeller suit, and it was consistent too. Here's what it looked like. If Mario propellers up on the 6th note of the boss music, he's perfectly set up to aim Bowser's Fireball to create the 1-block gap in the ceiling. He can then turn back and propeller up to the ledge, jump in the hole, clip inside, and crouch jump 6 times to reach the top. To give you an idea of how consistent this was, MG Roadkill, the host of the task, managed to do the trick 8 times in a row. But the task team kept the trick secret. They didn't want to spoil too much about the ultimate task of the game, especially this. It all came down to June 17th, when the task would be streamed for everyone to watch. The task was a huge success, and nothing like any run performed by a human or any previous task. When it all came down to the final boss fight, this is what the task did. Not only that, but during the stream, MG Roadkill revealed that there was a consistent setup for the trick with the propeller, and that he had done it 8 times in a row. Within minutes, everyone was at work trying to learn the trick and get it consistent, me included. Oh my god, what? Wait, what am I doing? I'm stuck. People streamed attempts with the trick for almost the entire rest of the day, and in the end, runners could get away with around 70 to 80% consistency. The strategy would later be named Above the Castle, or ATC for short, aka the meal. Don't ask me why it's called that. A time save this big had not occurred in over 5 years, and not only that, but the path to a sub 22 run was wide open. All people had to do was just have a decent pace into the escape and get it in a run. Only 3 days later, Billy Joe 66 would obtain a world record of a flat 22:03 using ATC. It wasn't sub 22, but it was a world record by 2.5 seconds, which had not been seen anytime recently. But still, ATC saves 10 seconds. Billy only saved 2.5, so there was still a lot more time to be saved. Who knew when the next world record would come? Just 5 hours later, Cad had gotten on a decent pace. Going into World 8, he was just barely behind. All he had to do was play decently, make it through bombless, and then get ATC. Going into the Bowser Jr. fight, this happened. This was a huge chance for the world record. People were confident that if he got ATC, this run would become the first sub 22. After hitting the first switch, there was only one thing left to do.
Eat the meal! We are consuming!
Consuming! We
Eat
eat it! Yes, right.
A minute barrier hadn't been broken since 2016, and an improvement of 5 seconds hadn't happened in 5 years. It was the most historic moment in the history of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and it's likely that this is the last minute barrier that will ever be broken. There was still a lot of time to save, so Cad would continue doing attempts. Literally the next day, he would get a run clocking in at 21:56.7. which cleaned up a few of the mistakes he had made in 8-7 in the castle. With the discovery of ATC, anything is possible now. The best theoretical time of the game has dropped from a 21:52 to a 21:42, meaning that if a human were to nearly perfect every stage with the current known strategies, a low 21:40x would be possible. Who knows how far the record will go from here. Thanks for watching.
Eventually, we'll hear of a 21-minute any percent run. That day is today. This is the history of New Super Mario Bros. Wii World Records. Thanks for watching.